Howdy team, happy Thursday. I hope you can hear me okay. I couldn't resist broadcasting today from this location. I am sitting in front of the Texas station at the Gaylord. I don't know if you've ever been to the Gaylord before, but my word, this place is crazy. I'm here today for a conference. It's called the Caring Well Conference. It's not fun. It's about dealing with sexual abuse in the church and hearing some, I even hate to say good stuff, because stuff that has happened in the last, well, actually since for forever, stuff that's happened in churches is awful, but stuff that's come to light really in the last 3 or 4 years, it's just heartbreaking. But we could sit around and we could rub our hands and say, oh well, and that's awful, or we can say, okay, this is the problem, let's deal with it, and that's what we're saying. And so I'm here trying to get some equipping. The rest of the staff is here, which is good, but I wasn't going to forget about y'all. It's Thursday, so let's happy Thursday. We get to talk about God's faithfulness, which is not leaving my mind as I'm hearing all this stuff about abuse. God is faithful even when we're not. I know that the passage they told us to study is Psalms 145, and I want you to do that because that's one of the most encouraging Psalms in the entire Scriptures. But do not miss pointing out to the students 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 13. Again, 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 13. That's the one that says that even when we are faithless, God is faithful because he can't deny himself. God's faithfulness, all of the attributes we've looked at are essential, but God's faithfulness should be one of the most encouraging because we are so faithless. Even when we don't want to be faithless. There's times when we do want to be faithless. Like I just don't want to follow Jesus today. That we all have those feelings. But even when we don't want to be faithless, like we just fail. It's our sinful human nature that causes us to fail. But even when we do fail, God is still faithful to us. And that's why Psalm 145 is so encouraging, because it doesn't just talk about God's faithfulness. It talks about his goodness and his kindness and his mercy and his love and all these attributes that we have spent the last 7 weeks talking about. God is faithful to continue to be all of those things to us. And we got to cling to that and believe that and hold to that. And we got to help students see that those things are true. And they will always be true because God is faithful. One of the most encouraging thoughts in all of Scripture is this: when we talk so much about Jesus is coming back to get us, right? And he is. He's going to come rescue us someday, and I can't wait. But there's a part of us that's like, man, is it ever going to happen? It just seems like we've been waiting forever. And that's how the people in the Old Testament felt about the coming Messiah. Like he'd been foretold literally since the very beginning. Whenever Adam and Eve sinned, one of the things that God said is that one day God would crush Satan's head. He was going to fix everything. But it didn't happen yet. In fact, it didn't happen for several thousand years. Well, here we are 2,000 years removed from Jesus resurrecting, and we haven't been rescued yet. And so it's easy to get discouraged and think, man, I just don't think it's ever going to happen. But God faithfully kept his promises in sending us a Messiah, which means we can trust him to faithfully keep his promise to come rescue us someday. But that also means that we can faithfully trust him to continue to be merciful and continue to be kind and continue to be good and continue to be patient and continue to be wise and all these things that we've been studying. So cling to God's faithfulness. Personally cling to God's faithfulness. Man, I'm clinging to it. I need to know that God is faithful, especially when I hear these awful stories about stuff that pastors have done to people. And I need to remember God's faithfulness when I think about the awful stuff that I've done too. I don't get to throw rocks. I've messed up too. But then I also need to remember God's faithfulness when I think about all the awful stuff that has happened in and around me and to me. And I need to remember that God is faithfully going to execute his plans, and he's faithfully going to take care of me and love me, and he will fulfill his promises, because that's what faithfulness means. Guys, I love y'all. Again, Texas Station, y'all have a great weekend. Love y'all. I'm praying for you. And Giga Maggies. Bye.